Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of Decoding Branding with Divya Shah. In this episode, we will dive deeper into understanding brand marketing and performance marketing practically and how to strike a balance between the two as an early stage startup with limited marketing budget. To talk on this topic, I have got Prathamesh Dembla with me. He brings with himself 9+ years of experience as a growth marketer in the realm of performance marketing, CRM, retention, digital brand marketing, and much, much more. By the way, he has also worked as head of growth at Licious and as a head of digital marketing at Milkbasket. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Hi, Prathamesh. Welcome to my podcast, Decoding Branding with Divya Shah. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great too. Thank you. Firstly, thank you for accepting my invite. I know I've already said you like tons of times. Thank you. But thank you once again for coming here and, wanting to willingly speak to all the people who are going to be listening to this podcast today.
I think it's a privilege, honor. I don't know, how should I say in more formal terms? It means a lot. बहुत ज़्यादा respect feel होता है if somebody calls like this. And the whole agenda is whatever I know, I just want to democratize it. So whatever mistakes I made, I hope nobody else makes it. That's it.
Oh, that's a very nice thought process. So let's get started with, addressing the elephant in the room. I speak to a lot of founders on a weekly basis, and all of them have this apprehension that performance marketing is, since it gets you business, and why invest in branding? What is your take on that thing?
I think founders or performance marketers alike, if you would have asked me this question probably 3 years ago, I was that guy who was fighting with my CMOs and telling them, क्यों पैसा लगाना है branding में? I was like, I didn't get it. Honestly, I didn't get it. And my personal trajectory has been over the last years, or I'll measure branding in quarters, has been branding as extremely critical. So I'll just take a step back and I'll say, what do you mean by branding or performance marketing? I'll just try to deconstruct the two, because what happens for most of the people, if you ask somebody who comes from a FMCG background, for them probably branding means TV pe ad karna. The new age growth experts, they will tell you branding means YouTube pe ad karna. Nothing can be farther from the truth. While these are critical aspects of branding, but these are not the only aspects of branding. Yeah. Some very good examples we have seen in Bangalore. We know a company called Growth School, Sequoia funded, completely built on the personal brand of one person, Web of Sisinti. That's the power of personal branding. Or for that matter, we all know one more podcaster, Raj Shamani. He's starting a startup in the creator space, D2C creator space, entirely built on his own personal brand. Or for that matter, one person that I really admire a lot, Shashank Mehta, the founder of Whole Truth. If you look at his blog, fitshit.in, that has been going on for a lot of time. It's built on his own personal brand, as well as something like a content marketing, if I were to say, and he started his company there. So I think these are some aspects of branding. In US, we look at Kylie Jenner, Kylie Cosmetics, again, personal brand, grown into $1 billion company out there. So branding per se, it's not very black and white or something that can be measured. The way I actually distinguish today, if you look at performance marketing, I'll give you one more. While we have deconstructed branding, let us deconstruct performance marketing as well. I was with Rummy Circle. I remember our performance marketing team was 30+ member team. I'm talking about 2016-17. Now, to do the same task, the number of people that are required is literally 1/5 of the same. And it's more on the analytics side, analyst side, to look at different cuts, which even Google, Facebook, day in, day out, they are trying to make it much easier actually. So if you look at it, has become a lot of tools driven. We all know two types of campaigns. I'm sure your listeners might be thinking, if there's an app campaign, it's something, or universal ad campaign, UAC. आप सिर्फ creative डाल दो, budget decide कर लो, आप target दे दो, बाकी पूरा काम Google करेगा. And the same on the website side is Performance Max. So the lot of creativity in performance marketing has been dumbed down actually. Performance marketing is very scientific, tools driven, algorithmic, or if I were to put it, it's very scientific. I'll say science. Branding is art. And today, if you see if somebody, if you talk about entrepreneurs or growth experts, for them to really make a difference, like सबके लिए वही है आज दिन वो हो जाता है. If I as a brand have 1 lakh as a budget per day, you as a brand have 50,000 as a budget per day, till when will this race continue? Performance marketing में आप वो लड़ाई करोगे. Branding is where, as a smaller brand with limited resources, you can fight bigger brands. So I see branding as an art, performance marketing as science, which is rules driven. And if you want to stand out, this is one way to do it. And I build those analogies, like you build your moat where, for example, Ankur Warikoo, with all his followers, built a moat that he had an amazing distribution out there. Just with credit card billing, they had such a big distribution, they started integrating other things in itself. So while the way distribution is a moat, I believe branding is your moat, which you should not lose, which we saw with examples like Whole Truth, Growth School, for example, Raj Shamani's startup, or for that matter, where I was. I will encourage all the users. I'm sure if you're a meat eater, you would have tasted Licious over the last 3 years. For the longest time, I used to believe that Licious and Fresh to Home are neck to neck, always. Come first lockdown, post that, you see where Licious is, where Fresh to Home is. I think the numbers, the brand searches, everything are in public domain. You should check it out. And it's pure, I would say, the efforts of our founders, Abhay and Vivek. And Abhay, the way he looks at the brand, the way he has invested from the very first day in 2015 on building that brand. So if you were to say is branding critical, I would say अगर नहीं सोच रहे तो यार प्रॉब्लम है, आगे चल के प्रॉब्लम होगी फिर.
Yeah, fair enough. So I think with performance marketing, there's only so much of money that you can put in month on month. And after a point, you reach a threshold, and that's where branding comes into the picture. So do you think is branding important if you have to move a needle from a 1 crore ARR to a 10 crore ARR brand? To move that needle?
I think, see, this question is more on the side where, question comes on attribution. How do you attribute? Performance marketing, it's very easy. Last click attribution. I spend 50,000 rupees. मेरा ROAS 5 का चल रहा है. मेरे को 2.5 lakh का धंधा मिला. It's very straightforward. Now the problem is, as a founder, I have limited money, and I empathize with everyone because I'm right now myself a founder. तो that 20,000, 30,000 कहाँ गया पता नहीं चल रहा है, उसका कुछ धंधा आ रहा है कि नहीं. The first mistake that we make is we measure things on a daily level. मतलब we are so anxious कि daily numbers देखने की हमें आदत रहती है. We just look at the numbers on a daily level. जो branding में नहीं दिखेगा आपको. If you're looking to seek answers on a daily level, नहीं मिलेगा. Now, the question that you mentioned, if I want to move from a 1 crore ARR to probably a 10 crore ARR brand, that scale. If you look at what's happening, if you are at 1 crore within the category, there's a good chance there'll be one more brand which is probably at a 50 lakh ARR. There'll be some brand which is at a 2 crore, 3 crore ARR. Like that's the category that is there. You're competing against them. और हर चीज में मतलब आप कुछ भी मांग लो, हर चीज में तो competition है ही. ऐसा कोई category नहीं बचा है. Now, once you are fighting that battle with others, everybody has the same performance marketing tools. सब लोग same type of campaign कर रहे हैं. Facebook ad library पे you will go and you will check out the creators, you will copy the creators, which one is working, which one is not working. YouTube पे आप sort कर लोगे which are the highest running videos, you will just copy them, you will put it. वो जो differentiator था वो भी चला जाएगा. Now if you look at performance marketing में ना, वो the way they say it in Hindi, 19-20 का फर्क रह जाएगा. That's the point. अब now how do you differentiate? वहाँ पे question वो आता है. Now that is where I say, if people are actually searching for your brand, how will you generate those brand searches? It is only possible when people know your brand. How will they know your brand? When you will create content, when you will create talking points about your brand. Now, these talking points, performance marketing, if you need to understand, when you give a target CPA, target cost per action, there's a very good chance if, for example, I am a badminton player, I buy badminton apparel, badminton shuttles. So that ecosystem, na, agar Yonex hai and there is another competitor का भी ad आएगा because I purchased something on Yonex. It works like that. The category doesn't expand. Whereas for branding is where you have an opportunity to indulge me in it. It takes time. In my experience, it takes at least a frequency of 5 to 7 of video frequency along with some static frequency. I have done some math and it comes to 5 to 7. So if you're able to give those 5 to 7 impressions per user, is when the user will start searching for you. And once the user starts searching for you, is when the user will come on your platform. And if he or she likes your product, pricing, delivery, your product app or tech product experiences, when he will buy. So not just limited to branding. So if you're looking from a 1 crore to 10 crore ARR, I have a certain math. For example, at least 20% of your budget should get invested in branding right from day one. Even if you're spending 50,000 rupees a month, you should be doing that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So this actually reminds me of a prospect that I spoke couple of months ago. She reached out to me where she had a product ready. She's like, Divya, I want to do branding. And I'm like, sure, we can do it since the product is ready. We can get into understanding more about a target audience, etc. And she asked me, kitna time lagega? I said, roughly 6 to 8 weeks minimum lagega. She's like, okay, I'll get back to you. She was okay with budget and everything. But what she was not okay with was the amount of time that she will have to put into branding in the initial phase. And she can't launch a product before those 8 weeks. And she was like, मुझे आज ही launch करना है वो product. She's like,
नहीं हो सकता. I think this is what the maturity is, and all the brands that we see today. We say Licious is India's biggest D2C unicorn. It was launched in 2015. What we are looking at today is 2022. Next year they'll be doing 8 years. अगर इतना shortcut चाहिए ना success के लिए, it doesn't happen. And one more thing, ये 8 weeks, and I think this is what we should be hammering. We should be making people aware. Boss, branding is not a one-time activity. Boss, कौन बोला one-time activity? ये doesn't work that way. Branding is an ongoing process. How can you? And I'm not able to digest that fact. How can you stop branding? Because this is a lever which is moving the needle for you, which probably you're not able to see on a daily, weekly, quarter, or monthly basis, which you will be able to see once you've seen so many quarters in a company. And unfortunately, in today's time, a lot of people don't spend that much quarters, and they are running from monthly reviews to monthly reviews.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So now that we're talking about, the time frame of branding, and also, can you quantify at what stage should they probably start investing in branding?
I think इसका बहुत ही straightforward answer है from day one, very first day. And you can choose what form of branding that you want to invest into. It could very well be personal branding, where it is founder led, which ideally should start from day minus 350 or something like that, before you launch a startup. एक साल पहले से आपका personal brand बनाओ, leverage the distribution. You can also look at influencer marketing. You can look at so the simple answer is day one. Now, if I were to quantify it, so I would suggest any founder, any growth person to look at your own brand searches. Google platform में बहुत easily मिल जाता है. Second, category searches. तुम्हारे category में कितना search हो रहा है? To put a rule of thumb there, if your brand searches are not growing, ideally they should be growing month on month, because as a brand, if your revenue is growing, your people should be searching more about you. If your brand searches are not growing at an early stage of your career, at an early stage of your company, then you should definitely invest in brand. How much growth? At an early stage, again, at least 10%, 15% month on month. That's the bare minimum that you will look for. Now, even bigger companies, a lot bigger unicorn companies, when they do branding, their goal is their brand searches increases. People actually become more aware of the brand, and that's how you traditionally TAM, total awareness metrics, आपके जो बनते हैं, how many people actually know about you. So awareness is one metric where everybody is chasing. So that a very good surrogate for that is the Google searches. I would suggest, if your brand searches are less than 10,000 per month, like you can put that number, then from that onwards, you should do. Till when you should do, I think at least when you reach up to 10,000 per day. I think that is the scale. Once you reach like 10,000 searches per day, uske baad you can like slow down branding, not stop branding.
Fair enough. So now you have mentioned, brand searches multiple times right now. I remember working with a client who used to track their brand searches, and they used to split it into paid and organic brand searches. And I'm not very sure on how that worked, but they used to split it up, and they had like a marketing budget of around 10 lakhs a month.
फंडामेंटली ब्रांड सर्चेज यू कैन कैटेगराइज, सर्च तो सर्च हो रही है, मतलब वो उसको आप पेड या ऑर्गेनिक में नहीं कैटेगराइज कर सकते, उसमें से जो कन्वर्जन हो रही है आपकी, दैट यू कैन कैटेगराइज इनटू ऑर्गेनिक एंड पेड। सर्चेस को कोई कैटेगराइज नहीं कर सकता, आपकी कन्वर्जन को या क्लिक्स को कैन बी कैटेगराइज्ड इनटू पेड और ऑर्गेनिक।
Okay, that's an
So,
interesting
yeah,
thing.
yeah. You had a second part of the question, like their 10 lakh ka performance marketing budget.
Yeah. So while since they were a Series A funded company, they could invest that much. Probably a smaller company who has say 5 lakhs ka monthly marketing budget. What is the split that you would recommend for different marketing ideas?
So first things first, अगर मेरे पास if I have 100 rupees with me, the first thing that I'll do is 10 rupees as 10% I'll just keep aside for experimentation. These will be pure experiments, no ROI, nothing. It's about experimenting with newer channels, experimenting with newer ideas. So that's one. 20% I will invest on generating content. I'm presuming 100% is not just media budget. I have to invest on generating content as well. And generating content has become really, really expensive these days, especially with video content, the limited video editors that you have. 20% I will be investing on generating good quality video content. 20% again, I'll be investing on branding. Now, this branding could be anything. The video content that was generated, it could be used to propagate on YouTube. It could be used to put it on influencers or any other area. And the rest 50% on performance marketing. So I think my split will be very well 50, 20, 20, 10, 50% performance, 20% branding, 20% on content generation, and 10% very important on experimentation.
So I'm just going to pick the question that you were really scared of marketing channels. And I want you to dive a little deeper into, probably your favorite channels, or what are the channels with which based on, say, a e-commerce or a D2C company should start with, like the marketing channels when they're getting into building their brand?
So while there is not a very straightforward answer, it's not a textbook answer to it. In my experience, I trust Google a lot. I believe they have all the data points. So I'm very comfortable spending money on Google. The reason is fraud kam hota hai, ROAS acha aata hai wahan pe. That's one. But there are certain categories, for example, beauty, personal care, which lend itself to Instagram directly very well. So there is where the second channel of spends happen. Third, on branding, YouTube ecosystem. Please, bahar जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. I don't want to name the OTTs, but there are OTTs which do a lot of fraud. They give you fraudulent number of impressions. If you look at the Indian ecosystem, YouTube has a highest DAUs, highest MAUs. Put the right filters. There's a filter where you can just target connected TV audience. What is meant by connected TV? जो लोग TV पे YouTube देखते हैं. That typically people जिनके घर पे अच्छा TV है means rich people. वो आपका कंज्यूमर है क्योंकि आप D2C ब्रांड हो, आप प्रीमियम पे चार्ज कर रहे हो, अमीरों को टारगेट करना है तो वहां पे जाओगे. सेकंड एक अच्छा फिल्टर रहता है. आई एम गोइंग अ लिटिल बिट टैक्टिकल हियर, बट आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग वेरी एक्शनेबल दैट योर ऑडियंस कैन गो अबाउट. फिल्टर लगा दो सेगमेंटेशन में HHI का, टॉप 10% हाउस होल्ड इनकम. अपने को देश के टॉप 10% लोगों को टारगेट करना है. गूगल नोज बेसिस योर कंज्यूमर टच पॉइंट, बेसिस योर फोन डिवाइस दैट यू आर यूजिंग, उसको पता है कि उसी को टारगेट करो. सो rely on Google. So in terms of performance marketing, गूगल पे परफॉर्मेंस मैक्स कर लो, यूएसी कैंपेन्स कर लो. फेसबुक इंस्टाग्राम पे आप जो कैंपेन्स चल रहे हैं वैसे चलाओ. ब्रांडिंग में जस्ट फोकस ऑन यूट्यूब. प्लीज डोंट एक्सपेरिमेंट विद OTTs. फायदा नहीं है, धंधा कुछ नहीं आता है. इवन लॉन्ग टर्म क्वार्टर्स में पैसा वेस्ट हो जाता है. वन मोर थोड़ा सा कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल स्टेटमेंट, मुझे अफिलिएट्स पे भरोसा नहीं है. आप लोग को करना है करो, मैंने किया है, मुझे आई डोंट ट्रस्ट देम. I spend very less amount of money on them, very less. If you're doing, make sure you have all the fraud checklist put in. I won't name any affiliate, फालतू में YouTube पे आपका चैनल ना बंद हो जाए, but सोच समझ के affiliates पे खर्चा करो.
Why do I hear a lot of experience like in between the lines, when you talk about the OTT platforms and affiliates?
Yeah. मतलब I've done experimented a lot. So and see, the good part is, Divya, when you're in a startup, things change on a month-on-month basis.
Yeah.
a lot of times you don't have those analysts to do the dirty work. So when you do the dirty work, when you're sitting with the panel, you're looking the internet numbers, you get a holistic picture when you put those things together. And I have seen that and done some. So fortunately or unfortunately, I was always that right brain person, analytical, हमेशा वैसा देखता था मैं. So even when we are doing something on OTT or anything, there was a very analytical lens that I used to put. We used to work with a lot of agencies, which gives us the results in reach and frequency. And for them, those were the success parameters. Boss, we told you that we'll reach out to this 50% of the audience with 5 frequency, 50 at 5 is what they will call. And we've delivered that. उसका मैं क्या करूं, वो धंधा आना चाहिए ना, मतलब कुछ तो metric move होना चाहिए ऊपर. I'm doing this campaign for 2 months with you. कोई तो metric ऊपर जाना चाहिए. So I've been through that journey. So I always say all these OTTs, you name any OTT, they're all a subset out of the YouTube audience. When YouTube gives you that offering, why to pay 3x, 4x as CPM on these OTT channels? Why?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think a lot of the people who are listening are going to save tons of money by not going into OTT. I hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So I'll be asking you something that is, when you were working at Licious, Milkbasket, Rami Circle, and all of these big brands, you know, there were a lot of things that would have worked and there are a lot of things that would not have worked. So what are 3 things that have really worked well for you in your journey with these brands, and that you would recommend to any business owner who is listening to this, that they can go back and implement? So
first and foremost, I'll say, dissociate yourself from Google, Facebook. जो हमारी डिपेंडेंसी है ना गूगल फेसबुक के ऊपर, प्लीज ट्राई टू डिसोसिएट. जितना हो सके डिपेंडेंसी कम कर दो. लाइक वी आर सो अडिक्टेड टू देम. आई एम पार्ट ऑफ मल्टीपल कम्युनिटीज. फेसबुक पे एक दिन अगर कभी अकाउंट डिसेबल हो जाता है, मतलब द पैनिक लेवल्स आर लाइक shit hits the fan at that time. So try to dissociate yourself from Google, Facebook. I think try to build your other channels. It could be very well, it could be your email marketing channel. When people are coming on your platform, you're collecting the emails, and you tomorrow what I mean by in a year, 2 years, you should be able to say 5% of my revenue comes because of email marketing. It could very well be said that. Focus on partnerships. I think that is one thing which worked very well for us at Milkbasket. We were a small brand in Gurgaon. We were leveraging these big payment partners, Paytm, PhonePe, Amazon Pay. They were promoting Milkbasket essentially for us. So whenever you're a small brand, look at a partner who has a bigger distribution than you. Focus on that. Focus on branding from day one. If you are able to get it. सिर्फ परफॉर्मेंस पे गूगल फेसबुक पे डिपेंड करोगे, एक ना एक दिन फटेगा. इफ यू हैव सीन लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई, दैट गांधी जी से ना, जिस पाथ पे तुम चल रहे हो एक दिन तुम याद करोगे, वैसी चीज है ये. तो don't just rely on performance marketing. That's point number 1. Point number 2, leverage your word of mouth. All of us, whoever is here, we are saying we're building products which are better than the status quo. आज जो भी market में we're building better. If you're genuinely building better products, there has to be a word of mouth. It can't be कि नहीं होगा, क्योंकि तुमने एक अच्छा प्रोडक्ट बनाया. लाइक होल ट्रूथ का चॉकलेट बार इज डेफिनेटली बेटर देन द नॉर्मल चॉकलेट बार दैट आई गेट इन द मार्केट. That's why I keep on talking with my friends as well. Licious ka chicken is better than any chicken in the market, right? Licious ke kebabs are better than any kebabs in the market, right? We're building better products. So that word of mouth can be leveraged, build good referral hooks. It kicks on really well. Invest in SEO from day one. Can't say enough. Please do that. Even with chat GPT coming, anything coming, Google organic कहीं नहीं जाने वाला. SEO पे इन्वेस्ट करो. कल चल के मार्केटिंग बजट नहीं भी हुआ, फिर भी फ्री में ट्रैफिक आती है. To start doing it from day one. Third thing, again, now taking the fundamental principle, your product, your physical product is better. Measure retention first of all. You won't believe, Divya, इतना लोग को अगर मैं पूछूं ना तुम्हारा लाइफ टाइम रिटेंशन क्या है, तुम्हारा मंथ वन रिटेंशन क्या है, किसी के पास जवाब नहीं होता. Please measure retention first and then look at ways of enhancing retention. And if your retention is not there in your product, boss, then you should relook at your physical product, your business, कि कहाँ से retention आने वाली है. And on that, I'll just say, if you want to measure, if you want to enhance your lifetime retention, the metric, for example, this product has been tried by 100 customers, or for example, 10,000 customers lifetime. And in the month of January 23, out of those 10,000, at least 20% need to come for your business to have healthy metrics. अगर वो 20% के नीचे गया, मतलब तुम्हारा लीक की बकेट है, तुम्हारा बिजनेस कभी भी प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं होने वाला, वैसा है. तो तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ सिंपल 3 चीजें. डोंट ओवर डिपेंड ऑन परफॉर्मेंस मार्केटिंग. डिपेंडेंसी कम करते रहो. कैसे करोगे? पार्टनरशिप से करोगे, ब्रांडिंग से करोगे. लेवरेज ऑन वर्ड ऑफ माउथ. रेफरल हुक्स बनाओ. नॉट जस्ट व्हाट्सएप नोटिफिकेशन से नहीं चलेगा. उसको तो यार कुछ तो ऑफर दो, तब जाके वो बाकी को फ्रेंड्स को बताएगा. इन्वेस्ट इन एसईओ. थर्ड, मेजर एंड एनहांस योर अटेंशन. ये 3 चीज करो, मतलब वो 10x ग्रोथ, 100x ग्रोथ जो चाहिए सब आ जाएगा. इफ यू हैव अ गुड प्रोडक्ट फंडामेंटली.
So would you say that retention should be the North Star metrics for any D2C startup, any product-based startup?
एनी प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड स्टार्टअप एक्सेप्ट अगर आप मैरिजेस करवा रहे हो यार, मतलब उसमें रिटेंशन थोड़ा
नहीं,
प्रॉब्लम
of
हो
course,
जाएगा.
let's talk about physical products. Let's talk
Yeah,
about physical products.
मतलब just kidding. तो मतलब अभी जैसे for example once you're buying your home, for example,
Yeah,
purchasing a home is once in a lifetime decision, or
yeah,
for that matter marriage, for example, if your product is matchmaking, for example, यार मतलब उसमें रिटेंशन की जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि एक बार हो गया तो अच्छी बात है, मत आओ आप, वैसा है. तो apart from that I would suggest, I think anywhere else, मतलब आप कोई भी ले लो यार. if you're selling ghee, if you're selling oil, selling आटा, if you're selling anything, retention होना ही चाहिए. नहीं तो point क्या है यार, मतलब फिर तो even your podcast यार, मतलब we are doing this podcast, अगर मेरा podcast सुन के if people don't come for your episode, next episode, मतलब फिर तो मतलब then we have not delivered, we have not done justice to the people who are listening to us.
So all the people who are listening to us, you have to come back for the next episode without
actually, और कोई एपिसोड पे मत, मेरे एपिसोड पे आ जाओ. कल्चर के एनालिटिक्स में दिव्या बोलेगी हाँ पीडी का एपिसोड अच्छा था.
Fair enough. Yes. All right. So as we come to an end of this podcast, I have got a couple of rapid fire questions for you. And the first one is, you have to rate marketing campaigns of these brands out of 5. 5 being the best and 1 being the worst.
Okay, मतलब ये थोड़ा सा कुछ हैम्पर वैम्पर है क्या? मतलब मैं कंट्रोवर्सी में
नहीं, कोई हैम्पर कोई हैम्पर नहीं है.
मतलब रिस्क रिवॉर्ड रेशियो सही नहीं है इसमें. मतलब
you can choose to skip, but I'll try
हाँ,
that you don't skip.
I'll skip it only when if I have not seen the
campaigns by
campaign.
them.
Yeah.
So the first one is Zomato.
I typically rate them 2 out of 5.
Dunzo.
1 out of 5.
Sleepy Owl.
3 out of 5.
Nike.
At the stage that they are, वो कुछ भी करने यार, they are 3-4 out of 5. मतलब they are too big. मतलब क्या ही बोलोगे इसमें.
Okay. Licious.
Licious is 5 out of 5. मतलब Licious is hard. मतलब I love them. मतलब वो I love them always.
A lot of bias coming in.
मतलब यार मतलब वो तो अपना है, मतलब वो तो घर की बात है. मतलब घर को तो it's family. ऐसा है.
Apple.
I recently saw their ये मतलब features for physically disabled or disabled people. I saw that ad and I loved it, very honestly. The way they brought emotions and everything. For me, it's like 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5.
Milkbasket.
Milkbasket, I'll say 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which brand do you look up to for inspirations, Nike or Apple?
यार थोड़ा इंडियन क्वेश्चन पूछो ना यार, मतलब मैं इंडियन ब्रांड्स
अच्छा चलो, स्लीपी आउल वर्सेस होल ट्रूथ ले लेते हैं.
I love whole truth any day.
Fair enough. So let's come to a little kind of a question. Since you're from Bombay, from what I know, so and you've been living in Bangalore, so which city do you prefer, Bombay or Bangalore?
I've started falling in love with Bangalore, and I never thought I would be able to say that. I was, again, this is my learning. 4 years before Divya, if you would have met me, I would have tried to convince you should shift to Navi Mumbai. I'm from Navi Mumbai. I used to call it I still call it the city of 21st century, heaven on earth and everything. All my friends, like my college friends, everyone, unko pata hai ye Navi Mumbai ka itna bada brand ambassador hai. But having lived here in Bangalore for the last 3 years, and for particularly the person that I am, I think this place is beautiful for anyone who is ready to put in probably 120%, who loves meeting new people. I think the way we met as well, it doesn't seem this is probably our second or third meeting or second or third conversation. So I think for people like me who love going out, who love meeting new people, and who are in their hustle phase of their career, I think this is the place to be. So I'm right now at this stage, I'm a Bangalorean. probably if you ask me 2-3 years.
Netflix or clubbing on a Saturday night?
Yeah, Netflix तो नहीं है. Very clear. I'm not a big fan of मतलब Netflix वगैरह ये सब. I hardly watch TV series और ये सब बहुत ही कम देखता हूँ. Clubbing और बैडमिंटन बैंगलोर, but it has to be Bollywood songs. हिंदी इंग्लिश ज़्यादा समझते हैं आजकल समझते हैं. These days I don't know, they play Instagram reel songs which I don't enjoy that much. But yeah, Bollywood numbers. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, that was a very fun conversation, PD, with you. Thank you so much. Again, once again.
Thank you for having me. It's a big honor. Huge respect.
Thank you. That was a super insightful and an action-packed podcast with PD. Action in terms of actionable items that you can possibly pick it up if you are a smart listener and implement it on your business to become a thriving brand for tomorrow. If you have got questions, put them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button and share this podcast episode with your friends. Thank you. And this is Divya Shah here signing out for today.